Morning, Sandy.
Hello,
And
Rick.
Sandy
how are
has
you?
not
Nice
been
to
feeling
see
that
you.
great, my poor thing.
No, I'm going to make it through it because you called me a wine goddess.
She is the wine goddess.
The wine
Look at
goddess.
this. Come
My
on
new
now.
friend,
You,
wine goddess.
you are the wine goddess. So you and I have been talking because this is going to be a big holiday for me.
Yes.
I'm going to make it a big holiday no matter what. And I'm very excited about it. So we're starting out a full week ahead of time talking about National Wine Day. And you hear all these lists, all these things that are floated around out there about what you should and should not try, what are good things to experiment with. And you did what for us today to kind of look into?
I actually pulled from, we have a highly rated Best Buy wall at Chris Gasbarro's Fine Wine Spirits. So I kind of pulled 10 wines that all of these come with the 90 plus rating that you keep referring to.
The rating, right.
And I think you would ask me, Rick, what did that mean? So when a wine is rated, number one, like you and I spoke, I think that rating wines can be subjective.
It can be subjective to the individual.
Well, it is subjective, but the professionals are going to take the wine. They're going to evaluate the color of the wine.
Right.
They're going to evaluate the viscosity of the wine. You guys have to excuse my lack of a voice today. They're going to evaluate whether it's varietally correct.
Okay.
How long or how much alcohol level is in it.
Right.
Then they're going to take the nose
The
test.
professional sniff when you do the nose, yeah?
Sniff. They're going to take the professional taste, which I shouldn't have.
with their cold going on.
I should have done. But anyways, then they're going
I'll
to
do it for you. Don't worry.
do that for me. I think I'll switch to a little bit of water. But then they're going to tell us whether they think a wine meets all of the standards of that specific wine varietal, how long they think it's going to age. There are all sorts of different people and wine professionals that rate the wines. Personally, at Chris Gasbarro's, we like to take, if we're going to put it on our 90 plus wall, we prefer the rating come from James Suckling, from Wine Spectator.
So reputable sources.
Reputable sources,
Right.
Robert Parker.
So I think that, from the perception we spoke about this earlier, is that it's an education. So in Sandy's word, subjective is a great word. So it's an education. Everyone's tastes and palates are different. I think that these wine experts come out, as you said, to kind of give you almost like a guideline, right?
Suggestions.
Yeah, suggestions and almost like a guideline for it. So this is a phenomenal start. So this means you're going to have 10 things that between now and next week you can go out and try. And this list you said was a very affordable list, right?
All $15.99 and under.
Every single one.
Every one.
So there you go. That's a bargain and a half. That's like less than 2 glasses of wine when you go out to a restaurant. So let's get started. We got some whites here. Let's talk about
So we have some whites, and you'll notice that I did not put any Pinot Grigio because that's my least favorite white varietal.
All right.
I like interesting white wines. I don't care for Chardonnay by itself that often either, but interesting white blends for the summer. I thought we'd start with this Côte Est, which is from southern France. Can you taste the sea salt in that?
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful blend.
It almost smells like you're by the sea.
Doesn't it smell by the sea? It's Grenache, Chardonnay, and Roussanne. Comes from Eric Solomon Importers, which is one of my favorites because they always over-deliver for what's in the bottle.
Beautiful.
So
Very easy drinking.
What a wonderful seafood wine. And then next we're going to go to California, once again with 2 French grape varietals, Chenin Blanc and Viognier, together from Pine Ridge. This wine has a nice crispness, but it's got so much fruit that it's got some, I wouldn't call it sweetness, but ripeness of fruit on the finish. Another one that's great, highly chilled, out in the sun.
And I'm a big Viognier fan overall, but so Chenin Blanc is just mixing that other grape with it to bring that fruitness forward.
Oh, so yeah, this is a beautiful ripe fruit wine. A lot of you probably have heard of Kung Fu Riesling. This is from K Vineyards. Charles Smith has twice now been voted winemaker of the year. This is top 10, actually top 100 Wine Spectator this year. Great Riesling from Washington State.
We already had cheers to this from Kate and Molly back there, so I know that this is a good.
Yeah,
They're already
Washington
cheering for it.
State
Washington State and a Riesling.
But
I'm sure the Kung Fu Panda name has nothing to do with it, right? Kung Fu Girl.
Kung Fu Girl. Well, Charles Smith is known for his black and white kind of esoteric labels. But great winemaker, wonderful, well-balanced Riesling, not too much, again, a lot of fruit, but not residual
so it's not too
sugar.
sweet, right?
Not too sweet. It's perfectly well-balanced, crisp. Now for my next, not really white, but I had to bring back in the rosé. Rick actually did this, I think, on one of the first shows.
We did, yeah.
The Mirefort's Lafage, my very favorite rosé. I love the glass closure.
I know. So I got compliments on the glass closure, but I was also getting compliments on all the women were telling me what a pretty bottle it was. So I'm sure the bottle is.
It's a beautiful bottle. It's actually from the same manufacturer or the same winemaker as the Côte Est Lafage. Okay. My very favorite rosé.
It was delicious.
Those are my whites that I'm going to recommend, all under $15 or $15.99 and under.
All right, now we got some reds here.
Now we have some interesting, I think, reds. Good for the summertime. The first that I'm actually going to highlight is the Falesco Vitiano, which I'm so proud of their 91 point that they put it on the bottle.
Oh yeah, I guess so, huh?
It's a Rosso, it's a blend, it's a great pizza night wine. It's from Umbria, so it's got a lot of the same grape varietals that you get from Tuscany at Sangiovese, and a little bit of Cab Merlot, but it's a great, actually at Chris Gasbarro's it's $9.99.
$9.99. So you said it's you said a pizza
Light.
wine is what you
Pizza
mentioned.
wine,
So,
pizza night, like Thursday night pizza wine.
so very easy drinking.
Very easy drinking, very affordable. By the case, it's very affordable.
So what you should do is you should look up these wines, go to Gasbarro's, talk to Sandy, and you can mark them for days of the week. She already named that one for you. It's a Thursday.
That's
so
a Thursday pizza
so
wine.
I think I'm gonna have to do pictures of these every day of the week next week.
And
All right, so that one we got here.
And then I'm going to go back to France. I think you guys have figured out that I'm a French wine enthusiast.
Can tell
by now.
us.
But not everyone is so familiar with the wine, so it's nice to introduce. Let's get away from just the Italian and just the California.
Right.
So here I have another Eric Solomon. It's Michel Gassier's Circeus Rouge. This is a wonderful wine from the Rhone Valley. It's mostly Grenache, but with about 15% Syrah. Great fruity, jammy. Can go barbecue,
Okay, so a little
outdoor
heavier.
summer food. A little bit heavier, but it's still got such a great fruit. It's not an overpowering, very delicate, well-balanced wine. If you're not familiar with the Circeus, there's actually a Rouge and a Blanc. These are great wines to try.
So is the Blanc, let's talk about that for another wait for a second. So you have to take care of that one as well?
I do.
Okay, wonderful. So is that lighter?
Well, the white wine obviously is going to be a little lighter, but it's going to be more the same grape varietals as the Côte Est.
Okay,
Both Rhone, southern France, Loire Valley-ish.
excellent.
Very nice. And I think next we'll probably... You did Spain. You had a wonderful Spanish friend
that's
of ours,
right,
Victor
yes.
Ordonez.
Yeah.
Well, this is not one of Victor's wine, but this is a Solinera, which is Mourvedre and a little bit of Grenache that comes from southern Spain. Again, it's an Eric Solomon selection.
Okay.
His wine selections are phenomenal. Actually, this is a project of his. It's because it's in southern Spain. It's a higher elevation, rich. $12.99 a bottle.
It's amazing.
And anyone that tastes this, Robert Parker included, said that he thought it would be at least a $25 bottle of wine.
And $12.99 or something.
It's Chris Gasbarro's.
Merry Christmas.
At Chris Gasbarro. So that's my favorite under $15 Spanish wine. And then actually we're going to go here,
Back there?
so
Okay.
we kind of go in order. Summertime Zinfandel barbecue.
Ooh.
So this is a beautiful old vine Zinfandel, but it's actually called Old Zinfandel Vine. So
I love the label. That's very classic.
it's very classic. It's one of my best sellers. Again, it's $12.99. The Zinfandel has again the fruit and the jamminess that goes so well. Light alcohol.
Yep.
Really good to go with burgers or anything that's barbecue outside on the grill.
So that's one of the things to highlight. We talked about burgers and we talked about pizzas, and then obviously we've got white wines that can go good with the seafoods and such. But that's one of the questions that I've gotten before is, can people drink red wine in the summer? Now, obviously I'm not prejudiced, so I can drink every wine every day of the week.
To be honest with you, especially this and this, I would lightly chill them,
Okay.
and they're great. You don't want to ever serve the wine at the real room temperature.
Right.
This even in here, Rick, it's a little warm.
Warm, yeah.
Room temperature at 85 degrees is not conducive to good wine
But it's
drinking.
okay to chill a red wine.
It's very proper to lightly chill a red
Okay,
wine.
because I've done that. I've done that with Pinot Noirs. I've done that with red Zinfandels that I've done that with before, and I think that it tastes better, especially in the summertime.
Especially in the summertime,
Yeah.
because red wine actually raises your body temperature.
Right.
So you want it slightly chilled if you're going to be outdoors. But I did bring one heavy,
I think it was this
big
one, right?
heavy hitter. Yes, it is.
Cabernet.
So Horse Heaven Hills, which is on the Columbia River in Washington.
In
Again,
Washington
ladies,
again, there we go.
Washington wine for heaven, like
Getting
the
cheers from
Columbia
our Washington
Press.
State.
This is a big Cabernet. This area, the whole area in Washington, Walla Walla and the Horse Heaven Hills has really become a Parker darling.
An area that he's very, very fond of.
But the wines are fabulous. I mean, they're really taking Napa Valley by
By storm, kind of.
by the
like-
storm.
yeah,
I'm sorry to
yeah.
say another word that's a little more colorful. But they are really producing some wines that are going up against Napa Valley at a much more conducive price point to the
So
consumer.
that's interesting, and that's one of the things I know I want to talk about more next week as well, is that there's been this big thing where Napa's always been what's well known for California in here, but there are so many other regions, including locally. I mean, we've got local vineyards that are popping up and doing well, and not just in Rhode Island, Connecticut and Massachusetts. So going from Washington, and we have our fans in the back over here, but you were just saying, so they're producing wines that are becoming more recognizable, more well
Well,
known.
they're also of the quality that Napa really used to have. They had the market for
Right.
great Cabernet.
Right.
And Washington State, people have discovered now that there are areas in Washington that can produce wines that would go up against Napa Valley every day.
So has it become more of like a climate thing, or just more you think of the wine growers learning and educating themselves?
I think it's a combination of having great wine makers who have migrated up into the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
And the climate is similar and the soil content is excellent.
Excellent. So these things, and this is some of the stuff we're going to start to get some more of these tips and get more into this stuff as we get closer to National Wine Day next week. I will be taking pictures of all these later on and making sure that we put them out there so people can look at them, add some of Sandy's tips. But from this perspective, and then I think that, I'm getting a lot of questions about white wines too going into the summer months and such. Do you think that it's from an experiential standpoint, if people had to compare the regions, so if you go to look at those regions, is there an area that you think that is softer and easier for a person starting out to try new wines? Is it Napa wines? Is it Washington State wines?
Are we talking white wines?
Yeah, white wines.
White
that's the
wines,
question I'm getting.
and what I didn't bring any of here, they're also great Italian wines, not Pinot Grigio,
Okay.
but Italian white blends.
So like
They
an
make-
Orvieto?
Or Vernaccio, Orvieto,
Vernaccio.
Vermentino,
Right.
and there are blends. The Suaves are back in, and
I
Nama
love
Suave is
Suave.
a wonderful brand.
Love Suave.
Pinot Grigio has kind of moved aside as an introduction to white wines, but
Right.
without a tremendous amount of body and flavor.
Pinot Grigio has always been that almost that beginner wine
Yes.
that's been out there. So I think that from this perspective of doing this way, I think that this is something that we're going to kind of add. So at the beginning of each segment, I've been highlighting a couple wines. This gave us a big chance to highlight a lot more wines going into National Wine Day next week. But I think that we're doing a good job of pairing them up. And I know I've got some segments coming on that are going to be about Italian food, and we've got al fresco dining coming up. So we'll kind of get people geared up for some of those things. But to have 10 that are chosen that you can do that are all under that price point is absolutely
And all
instrumental.
over 90 points
And all
by
over
a
90
legitimate
points.
source.
So from a subjective point of view, you should go out and try and write your own tasting notes and start it. That would be really, a fun way of doing this. And we've got a good 7 days. So, about on a half a wine a day, it's not too bad.
That's
to
not
do.
too bad.
No, not too bad to do that. All right, so is there anything that we missed or anything you think we should do? I know next week I'll highlight some wine day events going on, some of the places that are coming, and I know we have some great restaurants I'm going to bring in that also got some wines for us too. But anything you think that we missed? Any news coming out? Is there any new wines coming out that we should start looking for? Anything
Well,
you've
I
heard
think
of?
I had mentioned to you before that some of the Orange Swifts were shipping.
Okay.
They're here.
They're
Machete
here.
is here. The very limited quantity of Machete, which was number 7 on Wine Spector's top 10 list this
Okay.
year. We got our very limited allocation. Chris Gasbarro is one of the few places that actually gets Machete, and it's going fast, so I would recommend it.
So is that just one varietal? Is it?
It's not, it's a blend
It's a blend. Okay. All right. So
by
that's-
one winemaker, by Orange Swift.
So that's something we'll have to highlight about. Maybe we can do something, we get you to write up about that too.
Okay.
So people know about it. All right, well, Sandy has been awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I know your
Thank you, Rick. I
our
know.
throat is so sore,
But-
but it's been an awesome experience, and these are great things that we can continue
And we'll
to
be
highlight.
sure that we have all of the 10 wines that we've highlighted here will be on our As Seen on TV
Oh,
section in Chris Gasbarro's.
And one other thing too to talk about, so there's shelf talkers we mentioned. I just want to bring that up real quickly. The shelf talkers are like a little
They're very
informational
valuable.
piece,
It's like a
right?
cheat sheet.
Right. So that's something to look for when you go
Yeah.
to the stores too, and take it home with you so you can even talk about it with your friends
Well,
as
like
well.
you do, you come in and you take pictures.
I love it. That helps me out a lot. So thank you very much. I know you're not feeling
Thank
great.
you, Rick. Don't want to give you